Force. All of the force you ever need right here on our show.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Force February. I am Jeff Arbuckle.
I am Jason Oliver.
And I'm Chuck Moore.
And you are listening to Film Seizure. I did Jason's thing at the beginning.
You did.
I did. How about that?
Good job.
Yeah, how about that?
What month is it?
Huh?
What month is it? I'm like super amped up.
It's Force February, right?
Yeah.
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 I said that already.
Did you?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, geez, we are starting off rough here. And yes, I said this is Force February. I don't remember whose idea it was to do Force February. I know that we had kind of tossed around like doing more Force films. If you're relatively new to Film Seizure, we have a thing for movies with the title or with the Force.
Did we do an official Force February last year?
No.
Oh, we didn't, did we?
No.
We've just done a lot of Force movies.
We've done 4 before,
I
and then
think
we thought, let's double that shit
I
up.
mean, this was 100% your idea then. I mean, you really love the Force movies.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I mean, I do.
You do.
I do. And
We had
it's
a whole
okay.
festival about Force
We did.
movies.
We had
That
a Force
was his
Fest.
idea.
Yes.
Oh.
That's true. That's a little confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what to think about all this. I know it wasn't my idea. That's all I know.
I think, though, we do have a barometer now for how good a Force movie is.
Well, it's raw Force or nothing.
Well, would it be good enough for Force Fest? And
Yeah, and this is a movie that...
and what is the movie we watched? Have you said that yet?
Well, okay, so for this first installment, well, they know because it's in the title.
Oh,
that they
well,
click
yeah.
on, but we kick the month off with 1979's A Force of One. Now, Jason really likes the poster.
I
for
love the
this
poster.
because it's a naked Chuck Norris.
Yes, I loved naked Chuck Norris. Yes,
It is true. I'm gonna.
They don't
take
do
that
his.
little
They don't
clip.
do his hairy. You're gonna take the little clip and just haunt me with it, aren't you?
Yep.
Just take off Norris. And
They,
he'll love Naked Chuck.
They don't. I love naked Chuck.
And I'll see myself out.
They don't really do his chest hair justice on that Force.
No,
of
they
One
don't.
poster, though.
Well, the thing is until he gets either sweaty or dirty, you can't really see it all that well because it's blonde.
that's true.
I mean, his
Or
cuffs and tails do match.
Or when it gets a bunch of cocaine dust in it, yeah,
Yeah.
powder in it, yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, yes, I do like this poster a lot.
It's very zen.
And it's very 70s. It's got that 3D, font for the Force of One, blocked 3D.
Yep.
It's got this white triangle with Chuck Norris doing the sort of yogi pose.
Right.
in
You know
the
what
middle
would be
of
great?
it.
I want somebody to take that part of Scatman Crothers from The Shining and put that poster on his wall instead of the naked black chicks.
Yes, that's funny. That's
Yeah.
But he does kind of look like he's naked for sure.
Well, he is.
But his
we
face.
explained it.
But what I really like about it is his face is blacked out.
Yeah.
You can't see his face, so it's sort of mysterious. It could be anybody with a bad bowl cut.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you go, Chuck.
It could. Yeah, Chuck needs to take a look at it here.
Oh, yeah. That is beautiful.
Yeah. but what's really kind of also really important is we know he's naked because he's not sitting cross-legged. That's the gigantic Chuck Norris.
It's just
swan
wrapped around.
Wrapped around.
Yes, this is the running theory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why Jennifer O'Neill is like instantly ruining those gis that she's been issued
Yes.
during the training scenes.
Yes.
She knows what's under there. She knows what he's packing.
Everybody's like, you're sweating a lot more than the rest of us.
Yeah, Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris ain't a black belt. He's
who ordered the Long John Silver?
I get it. Oh, man.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, Chuck Norris ain't a black belt. He's a dick belt.
Jennifer O'Neill wants to untangle that.
She wants to play with his hush puppies.
with her 2-piece fishing moor.
Yeah. Her planks.
They never actually kiss in this, do they?
No,
That's interesting.
They just embrace.
They embrace at the end. They hug at the end.
Because what's funny is the next year it was the lead up to the Octagon where they do make Chuck Norris like a romantic lead.
Yeah,
which is dubious. I don't think you really want to do that.
Yeah, he's not much of an actor, Chuck Norris. He's not even much of like a tough guy. It's weird.
No, he really isn't. He seems like the guy who would be the Obi-Wan Kenobi of the movie. Like he's like the teacher, which is exactly what he is in this.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah.
He's always very cool though. It's almost like he's trying to go with like a Steve McQueen thing. Where Steve McQueen could actually act, but Steve McQueen was always very kind of just chill and reserved, right? A little bit cocky,
Yeah. He would have a little bravado.
You don't get a lot of bravado really from Chuck Norris.
No, you really don't. Like, he's everybody's friend.
Yeah.
And that's something that I think his earlier starring roles, they tried to play up that idea that he is he's Optimus Prime.
He's a jovial
kind of hero. Oh, everybody feels safe and comfortable around him. But then, as we'll see later in this month when we cover another Force film starring Mr. Norris, he is kind of a badass at that point. And they take away they take away that soft layer that he has in this movie, and they just make him a fucking commando, which is what he probably should have been.
That's kind of what I like. I like those movies with him better, is when he's a little bit more macho, which I don't know. It's sort of it's my preference. Yeah.
You like macho naked.
I like macho naked Chuck Norris. Also, I don't think he has the bowl cut much later either.
It starts to thin out a little bit.
It's so feminizing. It's weird. Like the 70s
These are all
weird.
things that are really kind of getting to you, isn't it? It's like really kind of.
Yeah, I'm kind of identify with Jennifer O'Neill right now.
He just ruined his gi.
Her haircut is more manly than his.
Yes, it is.
He's got
it
the
is.
napkin stuck to it.
Yeah.
I get it. I just don't understand the appeal of Chuck Norris in these early
You
karate
don't understand
movies.
the appeal of Chuck Norris in general.
I mostly don't, but definitely
outside of that one poster that you definitely have on your ceiling.
Oh yes, so right above my bed. I look up and he greets me with his mysterious blanked out face. Because I could put any face I want there underneath the bowl cut.
But it just ends up being Chuck Norris.
Yeah.
You like his little cookie duster like tickling your lip when he.
Oh my.
We're going to weird places right now.
Well, we kind of got to, because this movie is very much. I would equate this movie to basically being a 2-part cop show.
Yeah.
It's not really a movie.
Right.
It doesn't feel cinematic.
It's kind of like a 2-part episode of Walker, Texas Ranger.
Yeah.
But if Walker was the karate master and the cop.
Yeah.
Right?
Because basically he just decides he figures this out for himself.
Yeah.
The cops are
Actually, he doesn't figure out shit.
No, he doesn't know anything until the very end, and he
has no clue about anything until the very end, and all he knows is that Sparks is the guy who jumped him in the alley. That's the only thing he knows definitively.
Yeah, so, okay. There is, I will admit that there is a little bit of interesting intrigue in this movie. At least enough to have fun with.
Right.
Where we're always trying to figure out who the fucking
But there
ninja
isn't
is.
really much point of him even being in this movie.
Chuck Norris?
When it comes right down to it. Like he doesn't drive the plot.
I would never tell Chuck Norris that.
Yeah.
He doesn't drive the
treading
plot.
on something.
Jennifer O'Neill drives the plot. for the most part.
She is certainly the emotional anchor of this movie.
Clu Gulager probably drives the plot more than anybody.
He's just hanging out in the fucking police station.
He's like telling fucking people what to do and where to go and what to investigate.
He actually backs Jennifer O'Neill's plan at the beginning.
Yep.
So,
Which is a dumb plan. But maybe we should start there. Let's start with what happens first. It's actually what is
That's
this
an
movie?
amazing idea.
Yeah.
all right. So,
yeah.
So the movie starts with something that is kind of amazing. But it like during the credits, you see a couple of cops, a couple of hard-boiled SoCal cops. Santa Madre, is that even a real place?
I don't think so.
Did they
but
call
I
it
don't
Santa
know.
Madre?
Santa Madre was the name of the
I think
town,
I just kept hearing Santa Monica. And I
That's
went
what
with
I
that.
That's what I thought they were going to say, but no, it's Santa Madre because it was actually written on something.
Okay.
Anyway, so a couple of cops from this seemingly small town or suburban.
Santa Madre, what was that? Like Saint Mother? I guess
Yeah.
Holy Mother?
Yeah.
All right. That works.
Okay, but
Or
do
since
we
it's-
have permission to continue?
I'm
on?
just wondering if it's a fictional place. Did they just like pull up? That's pretty fucking generic.
It was.
but whatever.
It's a Christmas town, Santa, because it's it's,
It is true. This awkwardly takes place during Christmas time.
yeah.
There's no purpose for it other than that's just when they filmed the movie.
Right. It doesn't enter the plot whatsoever.
No.
No.
It just adds some background color to things.
Yes, and they went,
Yeah.
and they definitely went with it. It was a choice because they decorate sets somewhat poorly, but still deliberately in Christmas decorations. So yeah.
Yeah, and some of the stuff that's going on like the actual location shots are like there are bands playing Christmas music on the street corner and
There's
taking
Santas
donations
and stuff. Yeah.
So they're following this kid on a. Is he actually on a skateboard?
Yeah,
he's skating.
Was he skating through? Okay, so typical '70s young adult. Although it was a teenager because the rookie cop that's watching them says my brother went to school with him.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's like an 18, 19-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're watching for him to do a drop, basically. Pick up some drugs, drop off some money, or something like that.
Yeah. If you imagine if this guy talks, he would sound like Spicoli.
Oh, yeah, 100%. So they follow him to a department store. That department store ends up being kind of a important thing because almost everything happens at this department store. My feeling is that this is to highlight, how capitalism is taking over Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
Gremlins
drugs.
borrowed that.
Exactly, from this movie.
Yep.
So anyway, they go in and they're like, "Where'd the kid go? Where'd the kid go?" And they're slinking around. Now you guys saw something that I missed.
Man, so this was amazing.
So Chuck,
Well, it was actually Jason that saw this, but
So they go into this sporting goods store, and there's this mannequin against the wall that's behind them that is in a ski mask and like dark clothing and it's the ski poles up above him on the wall. There's other mannequins throughout the store as well. And I was like, check. Wouldn't it be amazing if like that mannequin just came alive and attacked them? Like grabbed the ski poles or something and just attacked them. Do not think in any way, shape, or form that was actually going to happen.
yeah.
But it fucking happened.
Yep.
And it was amazing. And I'm thinking this movie's got big potential now.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And I'm thinking, but then I start thinking about why the hell was he there in the first place?
just in case cops follow.
Yeah.
the
I mean, did this
skateboarder.
guy just like freeze like a mannequin all day? And that's like the burglar system is him.
Yeah.
Just freezing as a mannequin just as like in ski
I think he
clothes.
was ready to go out skiing, and then he heard them sneak in.
They're like,
And
"Whoa."
just
He's like, perfect. Freeze.
I mean, they sneak in, but you got the one kid, the young cop, who's just like basically screaming about playing baseball when he's a kid
Yeah.
for like a whole minute.
Reminiscing about him and his dad. Like, what is this guy talking about?
And who was he talking to?
Yeah, and then he
was
starts
like,
complaining about the price of baseball gloves
Yeah.
and $55 for a leather baseball glove.
He's like, they need to pay cops more. And that's when the ninja attacks.
And that's when the ninja attacks.
yeah.
And the ninja kills the two cops with karate.
Yeah. Lots of karate.
Lots of fucking karate.
They say the word karate more than karate happens in the film. But.
Yeah, that's
Well, yeah, that's true. So, then cut to the police station. Now, Clu Gulager is the police chief of Santa Madre, and he's got his collected vice squad, which I guess a small town would have a vice squad. No,
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't really know.
I don't know, but they're
a ragtag group of vice cops.
Yeah, with you got one guy who looks like Washington from Welcome Back, Kotter.
Yeah.
Who always has a different hat on.
Yep.
Mr. Cotte.
It's always like a bucket cap.
Yep. Then you've got the Hispanic guy. Then you got some other greasy, hard-boiled cop.
Yeah, sort of Italian, like curly hair. Yeah.
And then you got fucking Superfly.
Yep.
Ron O'Neal is a big part of this movie. So Superfly is one of the cops, and then you got Jennifer O'Neill.
Yeah. Mandy
Rust.
So weird.
Yeah, that you put a lot of effort in. Like, it almost feels like that's a name that you wanted to have like in a series of movies. You know, like that's not a
Mandy Rust and a bunch
and the crime of the century or something, or whatever. That seems like that's like a fucking TV show name. Oddly enough, this movie feels like a TV movie.
It does.
But anyway, so they're all coming up with like, oh, this, that, the other. We don't know what's going on. We don't know what's what. And she comes up with the idea of, well, what if they didn't know they were going to be attacked? And there's somebody that is very quick and very accurate and very forceful, you know, with their punches, with their ability to kill without being heard or seen.
I thought they were going to laugh her out of the room when she said this.
And then, and she's like, well, like somebody who knows martial arts. And, you know, because we know that she's got the fucking fetish for martial arts.
Well, we definitely do find that out.
Yeah. So it's like, so she's already been looking at the karate magazines.
Yeah. She's tuned in.
She's something.
She's got the Force of One poster above her head.
Yeah.
She's got like a little clipping of it, like in her locker in the police station. Anyway, so and so like I'm thinking it's like, oh, this is, you know, early era of police women, and I got some things to say about that because that is actually something that was done a lot on movies and TV to have like these police women be involved. But and so I'm with you, Chuck. I thought, oh, they're just gonna laugh her out because she's just some dumb chick, you know, some dumb broad, you know, or whatever.
Right,
but
it's
no,
the 70s, you know?
right?
Yeah.
And so a couple of the guys are like, I don't know, that doesn't seem likely that it would, like, who would know enough karate to kill a guy? And then Clu Gulager steps up to the plate for her, and it's like, that's our angle.
Well, he's not convinced either. He says, I forget exactly how he puts it, but he says essentially that it sounds pretty thin.
But it's something to look into.
But he doesn't have anything else.
Might be our only
It sounds
option,
like the best thing to look into is what he's kind of like, I'm going to cover all my angles kind of guy. Mm-hmm. So he's like, yeah, we're going to look into it.
Yeah. So,
but it's weird because they don't really look into it. What they do instead is decide they need to hire somebody to teach them karate so that they're prepared.
they can defend themselves. Yeah.
Right.
Which is fucking stupid.
It really is dumb.
So
It's
stupid.
not a good plan.
That's not a good plan.
But what's interesting though is, okay, so a couple of things here. First, this is the early age or the early part of the proliferation of karate. Like every town has like 40 karate studios. Because later, Chuck Norris is going around to the other karate studios asking, do you have anybody who might commit murder?
And it's taken him all day, and he's gotten to most of them.
Yep.
And all of them are run by former Vietnam commandos.
Yep.
All special forces guys.
Yep.
When they came back from Vietnam, were getting spit on and called baby killers. They just all started fucking creating
Well, you gotta be zen when you're getting spit on.
karate dojos. Yeah.
Yeah.
And some of them turned into Cobra Kai, and some of them turned into Matt Logan's studio.
Right.
You know, yeah.
So, you know, but like one guy, Because one guy really drives home that point where he's like, well, Matt, we were in the killing business, but murder.
Yeah.
Two different things.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but so so this is the early because we watched that movie, No Surrender, No Retreat, No Retreat, No whatever.
Yes.
I always get the order of that every time I think it's the one.
No Retreat, No Surrender.
Yeah, and those are rival karate studios within towns that then select a representative of their town to go and fight other towns' representatives.
Yes.
I mean,
and they've corporatized it
and criminalized it.
And criminalized it both.
Yeah,
yes, which is pretty much the way things are run now. But
sure, but so it's like, now I grew up in the early 80s. Yeah, I was alive. I was cognizant of what was going on in the early 80s. I don't remember all these karate fucking studios.
All these fucking rival dojos.
I didn't get drafted into the karate wars. So it's like, I don't know what's going on here. But yeah,
I don't know. I was the 80s too, and one of my best friends used to hide in the neighbor's trees with a ninja outfit on.
Yes. There was always one weird kid in the neighborhood that did that.
Yeah, the weird kid was Jeff Bowe, by the way. But sorry, only Jason knows who that is. But
I see that for sure.
He dressed the ninja and
I
used
probably
to jump out of trees.
Ian, but
yeah.
So I mean, apparently, I guess he got drafted into the karate.
Yes,
war.
he did.
I actually, this is a true story. I actually did not get caught up in the want to learn karate craze in the 80s because I legitimately thought it was that cutthroat because of all the fucking movies.
Right.
Like the rivalries and like how serious they all took it. I was like, damn, this is not for me.
You didn't want to get your legs swept.
I did not want to get my legs swept. No, absolutely not. Under the training, like I remember they would do like the splits and stuff. I was like, I can't fucking do the splits.
Right.
Like it's really painful. It's like, no, thank you. I'll go back to video games and comic books, please.
Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted Starfleet to happen.
Some
I would have
pickup
joined
basketball.
Starfleet. Yeah, right. Yeah, pick up some other sport. Yeah, but no, I mean, yeah, no, I didn't want to fight.
No, but I liked all those movies.
There's a certain charm to those movies. They're all shit.
Oh,
they're all shit.
Most of them are shit. Most of them.
Karate Kid ain't shit.
Karate Kid is.
I have no nostalgia for the Karate Kid. So like every single person is like, "Oh, you got to watch Cobra Kai." I don't fucking want to watch.
The first two Karate Kids I loved as a kid.
Yeah.
Loved them.
Yeah, they were good movies. They were fun. Mr. Miyagi was awesome. Everyone wanted a Mr. Miyagi in their life.
Right.
Someone to teach them to sand the floor and all that
But
stuff.
And paint their fence.
Yeah.
Isn't that just a Yoda or an Obi-Wan?
Yeah.
He was.
Absolutely.
He was totally a Yoda.
But he was a little more Asian.
A little. Just a little more Asian than Yoda.
A little more real. Like he wasn't Frank Oz as a puppet.
Right.
I 100% would have taken any kind of lesson from a Frank Oz puppet. Miss Piggy, Yoda, don't care. Any of them.
Yeah, Miss Piggy knew karate.
She did.
Yeah.
She did.
Yeah.
She saved Kermit in the Muppet movie.
Yes,
with
she
karate.
did. Yes, she did.
So basically every group of people, there are always a pair of cops who think that the skateboarding kid is involved with this drug ring, and they follow him and they end up dead.
Yes.
Right.
They follow him, they end up dead. They follow him, they end up dead. So, but in the meantime, Chuck Norris is training the cops in a scene that was absolutely not scripted.
Well, before that, you got to get to the scene with the 15-year-old girl.
We'll get there.
Okay, you skipped over it.
Yeah, I
Sorry.
skipped over it. We'll go back.
Because we got to talk about the fact that they've got to convince
Right. And
Chuck Norris
that's what I was kind of getting
to train them.
Okay.
So he does end up training them, but it takes a lot of convincing.
Yeah.
That's where I was headed.
Sorry.
He's got
that's fine. That's
because
fine.
he's got a big match. He's
He has
training for
got a
championship match.
There's a championship match, which apparently these fighters fight every week because
Yeah.
Chuck Norris fought,
Yeah.
and then he's got to go watch his main rival Sparks fight.
Whoever wins that fight, he fights
It's
next.
like a fucking
Yeah.
tournament
Yeah.
or something, and so like it seems, and then they're immediately going to that fight against Sparks. So it's like apparently you don't get any fucking training time.
No, you don't get months, years, or
Not like
whatever.
boxers.
No,
No,
you're
sir.
every week.
You better be ready to kick somebody in the fucking face tomorrow.
Yeah.
if need be.
Karate was serious.
I wish that they did that more in boxing. That you
Like
had
a
less time in between fights, and a more of a tournament style. They
I
did
feel
that.
like that would be only producing more brain
Well, that's what the
damage.
Olympics are like, right? I mean, you
Well,
don't
yes.
And they wear
fight,
protective-
fight
They
every
were
few
that year.
days.
But no, I'm not even saying like the next week, but within shorter proximity and
As opposed to two fights
and
a
maybe
year.
shorter fights, like 6 or 7
Right,
round
when
fights.
they're getting paid
I
$20
think-
million a fight, they can afford to fight once every
They
year. and a half.
actually did this a few years ago with the middleweight class. The show the Contender did it, where they had the best of the best in the middleweight division do a tournament style. There were still there were like 4 months in between fights. There was still quite a bit in between fights, but they got through like an 8-man tournament in about a year.
Well, yeah, I mean,
was pretty good.
If
Yeah.
you look
Yeah.
back, like if you look back through like when Mike Tyson was fighting or something, like back in the '80s, maybe even earlier than that, it wasn't just twice a year or whatever. It was like 3 or 4 times. It was like once a quarter. They would.
No,
they would
Mike
have some
Tyson
sort of-
wanted to beat someone up every day. I mean, that was what he wanted
Well,
to do.
and he would
Fight for 30 seconds?
Yeah,
Yeah.
one round at most and done. So it's
Yeah.
like, well, who's the next guy?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, I didn't even get hit today, so let's fight tomorrow.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So, but anyway, so he has to be convinced. So Clu Gulager takes him to the basement where they're packing up the drugs from a drug bust or something. And it's a shit ton. I mean, this is, as I put it, is Hunter S. Thompson's basement full
Yeah.
of drugs. That's how many drugs we're talking
They got
about here.
smack. They got cocaine. They,
They
got
got uppers,
marijuana.
they got downers.
acid. They got uppers. They got downers.
Yep.
I think Queens of the Stone Age wrote a song
Yeah.
about this.
No
Yeah, it must-
ether, though.
they
They didn't
must
have
be
the
big
ether.
fans of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't have ether. They didn't have mescaline.
Right.
They didn't-
It wasn't quite Hunter S. Thompson's trunk, but yeah.
but it was his basement.
It was
Yeah.
his basement. Yeah.
So, and he's like, it's like, yeah, I feel bad. There's like smack and whatever going on.
Yeah, there's drugs on the street, but I gotta
I got my
train.
own shit to
Yeah.
do. I got a fucking fight to fight for.
Yeah.
And my own kids to train. And the best thing I can do is to train the next group not to be into that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And so Jennifer O'Neill's like, well, I'm gonna drive him home.
And drive them around. Yeah.
Doug would drive him around.
I'm gonna drive him around with his stick shift.
All right.
Yeah. And so she
They go take him to see a prostitute.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, she does.
Clearly,
She does,
she
actually.
does.
Taste- yeah.
So as they're driving around, he's like, "Hey, lady, you don't have to show me the streets. I've been living on the streets all my life.
All the streets are the
I
same.
fought in all the dirty little towns in the South or whatever.
They're
you know.
all the
same.
dirty little South China Sea towns or something."
Yeah.
Dude,
Ooh.
say that differently.
Yeah.
Come on, Grandpa, don't say it.
At least he didn't call them shitholes.
Yeah, you didn't.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So he's like, all right, well, she's like, I got to make a stop before I take you back to the studio, which is probably on the other side of town.
Yeah.
She's like really taking him the long way home. And so he's like, come here, take a look at this. There's the guy working the front desk of this shit hotel is the police chief or the police captain of Police Academy.
Yeah, the bad dude. The bad dude. Yeah.
So he calls up Mahoney to bitch him out
Yeah.
when they walk by. And so they go up and they find...
Oh, but I just realized he did call the pimp, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they go up
Yeah.
to this room and they see this girl. I don't remember what her name was.
Alice.
That's what I was going to call
I
her.
remember
Susan,
what her
but-
name was.
Of course you do, because we rewatched that scene.
Yes. This is my favorite scene in the movie.
Yeah. So Chuck, take it from here. What happens in this room?
Well, yeah, so Alice is like this 15-year-old girl who's being groped by a man who runs out of the room immediately when
Groped is putting it lightly.
when the cap or what is her name? I don't know her name actually.
Mandy?
Yeah, Mandy. Okay, Mandy Rust.
Mandy Rust.
Yeah, I should have remembered that. So she goes in and tells Chuck Norris, Matt Logan, excuse me, the story about this girl.
Chuck Norris.
She's 15. Her father's rich, but she still keeps falling back into drugs and blah 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 blah.
She got all sorts of track marks on her.
Yeah,
arm.
she's got all sorts of track marks, and Mandy Rust is talking about it. And then my favorite character, who only shows up for like 3 seconds in the movie, walks in, and he's the pimp, and he says, "What the hell is this girl?" And
Just like that.
Yeah.
Some kind of a social engagement. Yeah.
What the hell is this girl? So Chuck Norris is like, I've had enough of this guy's shit. And he just beats him up right away.
Well, he does pull a knife.
Oh, yeah,
he pulls a knife.
No, that's not important.
This is the 80s, goddammit. This guy had it
I
coming.
prefer
But
the
we have
Han
to-
shot first.
But we have to
approach to
illustrate
Matt
that,
Logan
that
here.
Chuck Norris is always the good guy.
He is always.
He's always the good guy. So he attacks only when attacked.
But he beats this guy's ass.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
just
he does.
knocks him out in like 2 seconds.
cuff him
Throws
to the
him on
bed.
top of Alice at one point. He kicks him on top of Alice.
Yeah.
So then
you
at
almost
this-
expect him to start spanking him.
So at this point, this poor 15-year-old.
That's what you're thinking about.
Get spanked by Chuck Norris.
Yeah. Naked Chuck Norris.
Jesus, how did this happen?
You did it
You
to
did
yourself.
it to yourself. You're like, that poster's so fucking rad.
It is
Yeah.
rad, though.
This is the best poster, girl.
Put this on the ceiling above my bed.
I jerk off to it every morning.
Look out, Chuck, I'm gonna come.
So
You've been listening to Film Seizure.
it would get in his chest hair.
That is difficult to deal with.
Yeah. Okay, so
What the hell are we talking about, girl?
let's move on now, girl.
So, all right.
So Chuck Norris sees this. Sorry.
Right.
It's important to note at this point, too.
This is the end of act number 1 because he has a closeout act number 1 montage scene.
Yes,
But
he does.
it's important to note before this that he has a son that he adopted,
Charlie.
his son who he adopted.
And we're sitting there thinking like, oh,
Is Charlie
Charlie's
the
probably
ninja?
Charlie's the ninja.
or Charlie's the skateboarder. We
Yeah.
didn't realize Charlie's black.
Yeah, Charlie. We find Charlie and we're like, nope, he's neither of those other people, probably.
Right.
There's still an
Right.
outside chance he could be the ninja because the ninja wears a mask.
Right.
but
yeah.
the ninja's taller, bigger.
Yeah, it's
Right.
probably
and,
not.
And Charlie's got quite a bit of a fro.
He does, but he could pull that mask down though.
But Charlie wants to be a fighter, and that's important to know for later
he
more.
wants
But
to be champion.
yeah, he wants to be the champion of the world.
And there is a much more important and well-known trope that has to play out here instead.
Right. Right. And so there's two. We know who the dirty cop is.
Oh yes,
That's the other trope.
that is the other trope.
So, right. And so, like, he wants to be karate champ. So, Chuck Norris talks about how his mom was strung out, and he basically petitioned the court to become Charlie's dad because Charlie would come to the studio.
Charlie's a
because
good kid. All he
he's a
cares
good
about
kid.
is fighting. All he wants to be the champion. And
Right. All
blah,
he
blah,
cares
blah.
about is training.
Training.
He
Yep.
that's his life is wrapped up in karate.
Karate.
Like Chuck
like
Norris.
every kid in the late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah, yeah.
So except for Jason and I, because we did not want any part of that.
I didn't want any part of that.
But anyway,
So now we go to the end of Act 1, the montage.
right. So he's thinking about everything that he's been shown by the cops that day, and he's like punching this. What is that called? The speed bag that's attached to the ceiling and the floor.
I think that's what it's called. Speech
think
bag
it's
that's
just
attacked.
I think
yeah.
it's yeah.
that's the longest name ever.
Speed bag that's attached to the ceiling of the floor. That's what they put on the box.
Perfect. So I
gotta
knew
know
what it was-
in the 70s they named things what they were. Jeff.
I should know that.
It's a very literal age. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah. Well, see, look, I know more about fighting than even than I thought I did.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Sometimes it was now with springs.
yeah. It'd be like a little cartoon spring person.
Yeah, springy.
So he's like, he's fighting the thing, and he's like punching it, and he's like getting sweaty, and he's, and I'm watching Jason watch this,
Yep.
and
You were talking about Jason. He was getting sweaty. And
I brought a couple.
punching the
I
air.
brought a couple extra pairs of pants.
So then he realizes, I have to do something. This is terrible. So he goes to the cops like, hey, I'll train you. I got y'all geese.
Yep.
Come on in. come on in and learn how to fight. And then you have this really long, awkward training scene.
I kind of love this scene. Personally, I kind of love that scene.
I thought it was kind of charming.
Yeah.
On YouTube, it's called Awkward Training Scene.
Because I think they like filmed
just the behind the scenes shit.
It was Chuck Norris actually training them. It seemed like they were actually training them. It was a class. It wasn't scripted.
Right. What Chuck
as far
Norris
as I
is
could
saying,
tell.
Yeah, as far as what Chuck Norris is saying to somebody is they're like, okay, you come at me like this, and then you block with the butt of your hand or whatever.
Right, right.
You know?
And if they're up here, you do this. If they're down there, you do that.
And it's like, and the way he's not saying it. I mean, he is saying it with more personality than a Chuck Norris character would.
Right, because it was really him.
It was really him, and he was really saying it. And yeah, I mean, there is a charm to it. It goes on for like 87 minutes.
Too long.
Yeah, I mean, this movie feels like a 3-hour movie.
It does.
It's an hour and a half.
It does.
But so he starts training the cops. There's some other stuff happens, and then you find out like
some other stuff happens.
Then
some more cops die. Ninja kills more cops.
There is the scene where the two of the cops go into the sporting goods store, finds the big bucket of hot wax for used for skis.
Yes,
I guess that's kind of like the sex wax that you put on surfboards. I'm assuming. So you put this wax on skis.
Yeah, I think so.
Sex wax.
That's what it's called.
Yeah.
Really?
There's a brand called Sex Wax for skis and stuff.
Yeah. So it's like, but it's mostly sold at like surf shops.
Yeah. Also be used to remove chest hair.
Yeah. It was Chuck Norris's personal vat of chest hair removal wax. But they said, we got to use this, right? I mean, it's here.
It's like he's got a whole fucking trailer full.
So
of
these two cops in the scene, either they're making a plan for how they can hide cocaine, or trying to determine if this is how the cocaine is hidden.
Right. Basically, put the cocaine and the heroin into the wax, then
harden the wax.
Right. Harden the wax, and then reheat the wax, and the stuff would come up to the top. Which actually, that is the plot of Robert Davi's plan in License to Kill, to put cocaine and heroin into gasoline, burn away the gasoline, be left with the drugs. It's the exact same thing. So apparently it's apparently a thing.
It seems like it would be messier with wax.
I would feel that too, but
I guess if you melted flat, all the cocaine would come to the top.
Yeah.
And then you just scrape it off.
That's my method.
Yeah. That's legit.
Yeah.
Good to know. Good to know. Yeah.
Police. I would like to call in a hot tip.
So while they're doing this, the ninja is like scoping them out.
He's like slinking around.
He's ninjaing.
Which now that I think about it, now that we know who the ninja is, why is he wasting his time doing this? Anyway, whatever. He's got to do something. He's high on coke.
I think maybe he's just a coke addict.
Probably.
Yeah.
So one of the cops fucking opens up the vat of hot wax and like a dumbass just sticks his hand in.
Yeah.
That'd be like, oh, look at that light bulb. Yeah. Yeah, and sticking your hand.
Is this iron hot?
Yeah, exactly. It's like. Anyway, but that becomes an important clue, because when their bodies are found, they find wax underneath their fingernails.
Right.
And they're like, well, they shined their shoes before they went out. And they're like, but the shoes they wear aren't the kind you shine.
Right.
Plus,
or
they're not
red.
even red.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because this was red wax. So, and that leads Jennifer O'Neill down the right path. We
don't know how it led her down the right path necessarily, right? But it does.
Well, they pick up some guy off the street who is like I don't know,
he's like
a middleman or something.
Yeah. He's an informant or a friend of the skateboarder, or he knows what's going on.
And they connect him to the skateboarder, who connects him to the the sporting goods store.
Right, and then the wax is something that's used on skis.
Yeah.
Bob's your uncle. There it is.
Just kind of before this, though, Charlie and Chuck, or Matt Logan, have their fight. Their sparring fight, where Charlie is telling him, like, I really want to become
wanna
a
do-
fighter.
I
I want to
wanna do
become
something
a
more,
yeah. And Matt's like, after all this is blown over and I win my title, kid, I'll teach you how to do this.
Yeah, and we already know this kid's dead zone.
Yeah, dead zone.
Yeah, so they come up with this amazing plan in the studio, the karate studio, because the cops aren't really doing anything at this point. Like, we need to run down every karate person.
Yeah,
Let's
we
create a
know,
list.
basically.
let's create a list.
Let's create a list of
Which
who
we
it could
kind of
be.
talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Right.
But
And
then-
so then they start going out and talking to people.
Charlie. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Sparks fought a guy that Charlie and Logan and Jennifer O'Neill, and they watched that fight, and they're
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, it's Sparks won. I'm gonna have to fight him next." And he kicked the shit out of this one dude that Charlie knows.
Right.
Because in this world, also, not only does everybody know karate, but everybody who's black knows all the other black guys.
Yeah.
Well, especially if you both do karate.
Yeah.
I guess.
I mean, you shrunk that world a lot.
That's a pretty specific Venn diagram. Yeah.
it's also very tropey.
Black,
yeah, of course.
karate, and then, yeah.
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 But anyway, so
in a made-up Santa Monica town.
right.
Yeah.
So then they
That does have a lot of karate shops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does have a lot of karate because he didn't get to all of them in a full day.
Yeah.
A full fucking day. Anyway, so Charlie's talking to the guy who got beat by Sparks, and it's like, oh man, I thought he was gonna kill me or something, and then he says something else. And Charlie is like, "Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to go run down that lead."
Yeah. He tries to call his dad, but his dad isn't there.
Yeah.
So he
and
runs
it's
it down on his own.
Yeah, and he tells the secretary, "Just tell him I'm running down a lead."
Who's always eating, the secretary.
The secretary's always eating, which those are the little things that I like about a movie.
Yeah.
The little character choices.
I
like
feel
that.
like that was her choice. Like as an actor.
I feel like she possibly has an eating disorder in real life, and she's like, I've got to have chocolate.
I was just gonna say
that
that she's probably an actor who was like, I gotta make this mine. How can I stand out in this movie? I should be always doing something.
There were times,
So she's
though,
like, maybe
that
I'll
she-
just always be eating.
Yeah.
snacking,
Snacking, yeah.
But like, there was always something I picked up at first,
Which it worked
seemed
because
like
it
there-
totally stood out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There were times that I felt like she didn't snack, and that I felt that it was a nervous eating thing. Like she's like it was portraying that she had a thing for Matt,
Yeah, it could be.
and that she got nervous around him, so she's always eating.
I just guarantee you that wasn't in the script.
No.
Like she
nothing's in the
that
script
that
in this
that
movie.
actor she brought all of that to
Yes.
her role.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna be working with Robert Redford.
So Charlie is the only person, really, literally, that discovers anything in this whole film. Everyone else just suspects stuff.
It's true, yeah.
But Charlie cracks the
He
case.
fucking cracks it. He
Yeah.
talks to one guy, one
Yeah.
karate guy, and he cracks the whole thing wide
Yeah, you'd
open.
think Matt would have talked to him before
Yeah.
that, but
So now we have the trope of you can't trust the black cop. He's dirty. So Ron O'Neill, Superfly TNT himself is dirty.
he's cutting up coke on a mirror.
Cutting up coke with this drug dealer, and their muscle is Sparks.
So
Yeah.
I have a question here. So
The
obviously,
answer is going to be no.
obviously,
As if, was there a plot?
Superfly-
No. Was there any script? No.
Superfly is stealing the drugs from the evidence.
Yes.
Yes.
They think that they're burning all them all, but he's actually
He's the
stealing
guy
them.
in charge of burning them.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
the one that's actually taking them to the owner of the sporting goods store, who is the head of this drug crime
Yes.
syndicate. So the question I have is,
What does the skateboard kid have to do?
No,
anymore?
no, no. He's selling it on the street,
Right.
picking it up and selling it on the street.
Well,
but,
he's the mule in some
Yeah.
cases.
yeah,
But he brought the jacket to the sporting goods store that had the drugs in it. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah. My question is, where are the drugs actually coming from? Because
That's a good point because they never cracked that part.
right. Because it seems to me like the sporting goods operation are getting all the drugs from the police evidence room.
Right.
How are the drugs getting into the police evidence room?
They're probably catching a bunch of small timers.
Those are big bags.
Yeah,
of coke.
I know, but if you're catching 10 guys with big bags of coke and all 10 of those bags are ending up with one, they become the large drug dealer.
Maybe.
In the city.
But where does the drugs come from before all of that?
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
They're cracking small timers.
It feels like
probably.
it feels like a chicken and an egg thing.
Maybe.
Or
We're really digging in deep.
Or what the cops role in it all is that he's just recovering the stuff that their operation is getting seized.
That's what I think.
So
Probably.
it's just a small portion of what they're actually putting out on the streets. It's just whatever gets seized by the cops, he's saving and putting back into circulation.
That could be. There's it's kiting is what that's called.
Yeah.
Or at least that's what's called in banking, where you take a little bit of money and you keep bouncing it back and forth between accounts, so that it always looks like you have more money than you really do. So what he's doing is it's all the same little bit, and it's being sent out, and it's being picked back up, and it's being funneled back.
Well, yeah, I don't necessarily think it's like a scheme. I just think it's like, we put 100 kilos of drugs out on the street a week. We know about 20% of that's going to get seized. And he's making sure that inside man is getting that 20% and bringing it back.
Right.
Because 20% of your profit is a lot of money.
Right. So
exactly.
So it's cutting out the expense.
And it's also actually making you a little bit richer too.
Oh, because you sell it twice. You're reselling it. Yeah.
It's also making you much more susceptible to being caught. But
well, but you know. You got a karate ninja.
But I also imagine the cop is selling it back at a percent.
He's getting some cut,
yeah.
Right? But as it all works out, when you get to the bottom line,
everybody's
making good money,
right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So Charlie ends up fighting Sparks to get away. Sparks is like, you know, if you can get by me, I'll give you a chance if you can get by me, and he's all coked up, and then they have a.
Yes.
They have a fight in the water for what aquarati. Yeah. So anyway, Sparks goes too far and kills the kid.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. Or at least he knocks him out, and then they stage his death.
It actually seems like they are all upset about that they didn't want.
Well, because that's only going
Right.
to put one extra person on their tail.
But at the same time,
and
it's
somebody
like,
that maybe
what other
Sparks can't
choice?
deal with.
What other choice do you really have at that point, though? You kind of have to kill him.
Kill him or kidnap him.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to go the
gonna,
kidnap route.
Yeah, I thought so too. I thought they were gonna tie him up.
And then Chuck Norris was going to have to go break him out of some compound, but that's not how this movie goes.
And then be like a real force of one, right?
Yeah,
And like have to go in and take everyone out of the compound,
which would have been awesome.
Clearly,
that
this
actually
movie
would have been
was
awesome.
not interested in being that.
Well,
Yeah,
right.
it wasn't interested in being interesting.
Wasn't interested in being interesting. Yeah,
as Jason so happily pointed out.
if the movie had been made by Canon Films, that totally would have happened.
He would have been.
That would have been our final act.
He would have been fucking carrying Uzis.
Throwing stars.
He would have torn his or tied his dick belt around his head, you know, and then gone in after everyone.
It's like, man, you made me move my dick belt up to my forehead.
Yeah.
You guys are in trouble now.
You're in trouble.
Yeah.
Instead,
you're in trouble.
You're in trouble.
Especially if he has to pee. It's going to get right in his face.
The third act we get is
weird,
somewhat inexplicable.
Yeah.
Boy, things take off fucking fast. So Charlie knows the whole thing. Nobody else does. But suddenly, Jennifer O'Neill, like, I don't know, through premonition or something, or because the script told her so, feels awkward around Ron O'Neill. Like, it's a little weird that he's here right now.
They both show up at the same time, at the same place.
And he says, well, I shook down another skateboarder or whatever, and I got over here as fast as I could. But he's also being
He actually did a good job of feeling nervously weird, over-talky in that scene. Like he was talking too much.
Because he's a real actor?
Yeah.
As opposed to Chuck Norris?
Yeah, I guess, yeah. I mean,
a real karate
She's flashing back to scenes when they were signing the drugs off to him.
And he's got a look that it's like, I got him. I'm really pulling one over on these people. Which we also saw in the earlier, because we made a joke about how like Superfly was kind of digging on that.
Yeah.
that pin action against his chest.
Yeah.
Against his chest hair. Anyway, so she now has the hunch that he's in on it. Right. He's the bad guy.
But before this as well, Chuck Norris has found out that his son is dead.
Yes.
She has gone to console him while he's packing up his dead son's room
Well, he's got to rent that room. Dude,
And-
that's lost money.
And
there,
Chuck Norris
man.
is like, if I find out who did this, they're dead.
And she's like, no, we
then-
got to do it. But
but-
it's like the cops aren't doing
But then he
anything.
just goes about his life. He goes to fight his championship match.
Yeah.
What do you think if like your son died? You probably wouldn't be.
Well,
in the
Rocky
mental,
fought after
There should have been a
Mick.
scene where
Yeah,
Chuck Norris
Yeah.
like
But that makes more sense though. You fight one for your trainer, you know.
they should have had a
one
scene where Chuck Norris like actually personally battled with this and decided this is what Charlie would
Well,
want.
or just
but they
have
didn't
a
have
moment-
that.
In fact, when I start talking about the championship fight and that they're all going to go see him, I was like, wait a minute, he's fighting?
Right.
Like, really?
What he need? Well, because he ain't gonna fucking concede that shit to Sparks.
But he doesn't know
But he-
Sparks is a bad guy.
No, but he ain't gonna concede his fucking belt
Yeah, but
to
I
Sparks.
guess
His pride,
I
man.
think
It's
there's
pride
some
before-
I think there's some priority issues
Well,
there.
but what we just needed one scene of him in the dressing room with a picture of his son talking to him
right.
and saying, "I'm doing this for you. You wanted me to be champ."
He wouldn't be doing it for him, but he'd be doing it for himself. But yeah, sure.
But he could through some dialogue. My point is, through
I
a
know.
little bit of dialogue,
could,
you can make
you
that
could have
work.
made that tighter for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
You could have closed that.
Well,
loop.
that was probably in the film, which made it 6 minutes longer, which made it feel 3 hours longer.
It
so
all
they
of a
cut it
sudden
out.
was a 4-hour movie.
Yeah.
It's like, nope, scene's not working.
Nope. That makes this movie feel twice as long. Take it out.
We can't cut this montage in half, so we got to lose this scene.
Yeah.
That would make the movie make a lot more sense.
Yeah. We need the montage. It's almost the 80s.
We need to show them how it's done. So then they so he fights, and Jennifer O'Neill goes to Ron O'Neill's.
She picks up the girl that's always eating.
Right. And
Yeah.
it's
Goes
like,
to
we gotta
Ryan
make a
O'Neill's
stop.
'cause
They're
She
gonna
has
go to
a-
the fight.
Yeah.
And Ryan O'Neill's going to be at the fight because he asked for a ticket. He's like, "Hey, have you talked to Matt? Can you get me a ticket?"
Yeah.
It's like,
So
I
she
think
knows
he's
he-
got other things on his mind, but
Right.
whatever. So she goes and she realizes that Ron O'Neill has drugs there, and that somebody else is going to come and pick them up, and she thinks it's maybe a burglar, but then he's like,
Burglar my ass. I had that written in my notes
Burglar
here.
my
Burglar my
ass.
ass.
burglar my ass. Which is what
He should have
Jason
said,
thinks.
"What the
Yeah.
hell's this girl?"
So she has we'll just call her Nancy, the secretary, watch this guy who's tied up now.
Well, this pissed me off. I want to bring this part up because this
Okay.
made me mad. They had a 9-minute training session on how you can take a gun away from a guy who's holding it behind you. And I'm like, the whole time I'm like, oh yeah, Rust is gonna just take this gun away
Right.
from him. But instead, the secretary comes in and karate's
kicks
out
with
of
a
his
flying
hand.
kick.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
which
like,
is
why didn't they use this 9-minute training
Right.
routine?
The
That
script-
actually made me mad.
Put it to use somewhere,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, totally.
Well, the script again was not interested in following it on its own.
yeah,
Yeah.
Sorry for to interrupt there, but that
that's
pissed
fine.
me off.
So then she's like, "Okay, I'm calling the cops. They're gonna raid the fight
Yeah.
where Ron O'Neill is, and when the cops show up, Sparks, who's coked out of his brain, sees what's going on, and it's like, oh shit, I gotta run. So he kicks Chuck
But we have
Norris.
the Chuck
He
Norris
wants
recognition first, where he
Right,
He
he
sees his
realizes
eyes.
the eyes.
He sees his eyes
because
and-
at one point Sparks like is rubbing his face and his glove is covering up the bottom part, and he's like, oh, "Those
Yeah.
eyes."
That's the guy that attacked me behind the which we
Incheon
skipped
the
over.
Chinese
Korean
restaurant.
No,
Yeah.
it was Korean.
The Korean
Incheon
restaurant.
Korean restaurant. The hangout for quote
Karate types.
Karate types.
So then Chuck. So Chuck Norris is like, "Well, this guy is up. He fucking kicked the ref. I'm gonna go fucking kill his
Yeah,
ass."
that was kind of hilarious.
Yeah. So he chases after him. He also kicks a gun out of Ron O'Neill's hand before he goes on the foot chase. He tries to stop Sparks, who's commandeered a car. So Chuck's like, "Fuck yeah, man! I'm just gonna take this cop car. This cop car's right here. Nobody's using it.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm in it.
I'm out
gone.
here."
I'm out."
Force of one time. It's force of one time until
Mandy Rust shows up.
She gets in the car with them.
So
It's like, so when is this movie a force of one?
yes. Now it's a force of 2, 1.5. I don't know.
I don't know. It does become a force of one for like 3 minutes, though,
Yeah.
because eventually they get sidelined by falling into a ditch, and Sparks goes on to the drug dealer's house and gets a big box of Coke
And money or whatever. Yeah.
Well,
he
he
said
says
it's $1 million is what he said.
which is just, it's a fucking like one of those Brink safes.
Hey, that $1 million is why they aren't sure if it's 2.5 million or 3.5 million.
The budget.
For the
yeah.
budget.
Yeah, because they're not sure what happened to that box of money.
And yeah, it's like, I think that karate guy was coked out and took it. Well, we better end the movie now.
A third of their budget was the actual $1 million in a box.
Yeah.
Bro, it's stupid.
We can't shoot this without a real money
Which was just a big
that
pile
you'll
of
never
flour.
see.
Yeah.
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 So then,
Which was just a big pile of flour.
so Chuck Norris catches up with him, or is able, when he gets out of the ditch, he blocks Sparks from leaving the way that they came.
And it's force of one time.
And there's a
Sorry.
Yes.
Actually, this makes even more sense. It was real cocaine. They bought $1 million of real cocaine, and Chuck Norris karate kicked the fuck out of it into the air, and that was $1 million just into the night sky,
Into Chuck's chest hair.
Yes.
He has $1 million. He's been walking around with $1 million of coke.
He had at least $100K of coke in his chest hair. Yeah.
100 kilos. Or 100K. Sorry.
So they fight, and I guess Chuck Norris kills.
He's about to kill him, and Mandy
then
Rust
Mandy's
is like, no, don't kill
holds
him.
Chuck Norris at gunpoint.
Yeah.
No, don't do
It's
this.
not worth it.
And then he gets up, and that's when
Sparks gets up with
throws
the
$1 million of cocaine.
He tries to hit him with it or something. Yeah.
and he busts that fucking thing open, and it goes flying off. There goes your $1 million.
$1 million.
And then he seemingly breaks his neck, like over his shoulder.
Yeah.
Looked particularly vicious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They never mentioned what happened.
You heard a crack.
You didn't have. Yeah, you didn't
There
have
was
to
a
mention it.
crack.
He's dead. He killed him.
He killed him.
He
because-
100% killed him.
because that's what Chuck Norris
They,
does.
they,
Yes.
they killed him in the post editing. Yes,
Okay, so they killed him.
with the sound design. Yeah,
And and they go up and they embrace. Chuck Norris and Jennifer O'Neill embrace. They don't kiss. They embrace. Credits.
yeah.
Force of one.
Force of one.
We are off and running with Force February. Now, I do have a couple of things I wanted to bring up. One, the importance of why Jennifer O'Neill, in particular, I think, is in this movie. In the 70s, there were kind of an onslaught of police stories with women cops in them.
Okay.
It was a relatively new thing. Like there had always been women who worked for the police, but somewhere around the early to mid 70s, most places began hiring women, which they had never done before, or were actually had rules against. So you had like TV shows like Policewoman. You had you always had action movies or cop shows would have some lady detective that would work.
Right.
Now, and it would usually, and surprisingly not in this movie, but it would usually be met with some incredulity from the other male cops. And it was always a journey for that character to go on to prove that she was right or that she was a good cop or whatever.
Right.
So that happened a lot in the 70s. And by the 80s, I mean, then you had like legitimate like shows like T.J. Hooker always had a lady cop.
That's the
Or
first thing
there
that
was-
came to my mind was T.J. Hooker when
Right.
you said that.
Yeah, so there was always a lady cop, and like when we talked about Raw Force way back, like 100 episodes ago or something. that yeah, no surprise that there's a lady cop on vacation who happens to know karate. Because well, the thing is that I think most women cops had to learn how to overpower a man. So I think they all did learn how to do karate. So so there is some.
Well, I think all police officers get.
Well, they get some sort of self-defense training,
hand-to-hand combat, boy.
But I think women in particular learn like martial arts.
Are you just making that up, or do you?
No, I'm not totally making that. My suspicion is that if you have,
So you really don't have any idea. You just hope it's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I will say though, it is very, very common for women to learn martial arts for self-defense purposes.
Charlie's Angels all knew karate, right?
Exactly. Point.
His case is closed. Rest of this case.
But no, I mean, like, there are two things. Like, if a woman moves to a city, there's two things that she can do or somebody will suggest two things.
Stripping and learning karate?
Exactly. No,
okay, sorry.
To avoid being mugged or raped or whatever, right? Get a gun, carry it around, or learn how to defend yourself.
Or get a stun gun, or
mace,
right?
Mace,
pepper spray,
rape whistle.
Right, but the point is that it would also be very helpful if you have some idea of how to protect yourself too.
I don't think it's karate though.
Oh, it doesn't have to necessarily be karate, but a martial art of some sort. I mean, it's not boxing usually. I mean, it's some sort of
self-defense. Nowadays, it's like a whole mishmash of shit. It's not really like a martial art per se. It's just personal self-defense.
But back then,
it doesn't necessarily have like a credo.
No, but I mean, like there would have been some sort of how to disarm somebody, how to hold them, or how to flip them.
But I also think that all police officers get that training, not just women. I don't think they were giving women different training per se. They might have been individualized based on your body mass and things like that, but I don't think it was all that different.
Fair enough. But I'm just saying that, like, what I'm just saying is that, like, there would have been some precedence for there to have been a female cop learning some of the stuff that Chuck Norris has brought in to teach them. To be here in this type of story, and particularly in this type of movie at this particular time in history, they would have had a detective lady.
Right. What I liked about the detective lady in this movie was that she was just one of them.
She's a cop.
She was just a cop.
Right.
Yeah.
They did not do the normal trope, which was, oh, she doesn't know what she's talking about. She's crazy.
Yeah, they didn't discount her opinion.
Right.
They didn't like flirt with her incessantly. Not everyone wasn't trying to get in her pants.
Nobody was.
Nobody was.
Yeah.
Like she was just
even Chuck Norris was.
It was like it was probably the most professional 70s cop shop I've ever fucking seen.
There was two people in that film that said you don't look like a cop to her.
But they were both bad guys.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. But that's the only moment where it's like maybe they're saying that because she's a woman, but they were bad guys.
Right, they were bad guys. So, the other thing that I took some notes down was about Bill Wallace, who played Sparks. Interestingly, he was born in Portland, Indiana, and went to Ball State.
Where's Portland, Indiana?
I have no idea, but he went to Ball State and got a degree in phys ed.
Oh,
which makes sense.
Okay.
Because he became the middleweight karate champ.
Okay.
Won 23 consecutive fights from
like of the world middleweight karate champ.
One of the belts.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think there were a lot of karate belts.
There was one belt for each studio, probably.
Probably. Yeah. But he did.
He couldn't get to all of them. He only got to most of the belts.
Which movie studio are you affiliated with? Do you have a belt or not?
Between 74 and 80 or 73 and 80, something like that. He won 23 consecutive fights and retired undefeated.
That's pretty awesome.
He was mostly known for super fast left-footed kicks.
So he was kind of a badass.
He was kind of a badass, and he ultimately ended up teaching judo, I believe, at Memphis State.
He's still alive.
Yeah, he is. He's like in his 70s or something.
74.
He's done some. He's done some charity like exhibitions with.
Portland, Indiana is up in like.
That's not too far from Muncie.
It's not. It's very close to Muncie, a little south of Fort Wayne. Yeah.
Right on the border between Indiana and Ohio.
Yes, indeed.
So anyway, but no, he ultimately ended up teaching
Jay County
judo, and
county
he
seat.
was kind of a badass. Like, he was for real in this. So that's why I said that I do feel that some of that last fight, or at least the fight
Was
in the ring, was
legit
was at least
sparring.
some sparring.
Oh,
yeah.
certainly. And I'm sure they both had, a little bit of competitive egos going too.
Well, one guy is the champ at the time,
Yeah.
and undefeated. The other guy, went soft and went to Hollywood or whatever.
Shorin Ryu karate, kickboxing, boxing, judo, and wrestling.
Yeah, he's done some boxing.
Stance is orthodox. That's
Mixed
interesting.
martial
His
arts.
rank is 10th Dan black belt Soke.
That's probably super high.
Probably super high. That's interesting.
What about the Matt Logan shirt? Can we talk about the Matt
Yeah,
Logan?
so the Matt Logan shirt is this cream or white, 70s white, which is
Dirty
filthy.
Dirty white. Yeah.
Ringer shirt with a blue collar, blue sleeve ringer, and it's pretty rad because it's that old school 70s like iron-on.
Yeah, it's that plastic block lettered iron-on.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Like our old baseball shirts.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah, like if you run your hands down that shirt, your fingers are going to get stuck on those letters.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
You know,
It
You
only,
got to wash that shirt inside out, or it's
it's
totally, and
Yeah.
even then, it's only gonna last. Maybe,
That's why people. That's why they
maybe
were
50 washes. Yeah,
You don't wash them. That's why they're dirty
That's
white.
why they're the dirty.
Because you don't want to get rid of the.
Right.
It starts to crack.
Yeah.
Peel. Yeah.
But it's funny that they wear that. All the people, his handlers or whatever you call fight
Well, his trainers
people,
and
his
whatnot,
cornermen, wear that shirt. But there's a scene where Clue Gulager, the captain, is speaking, and his back is to the people he's
it's
speaking
late
to.
at night.
Yeah.
He's speaking to Mandy after they've come up with some sort of a lead about the wax.
Yeah, Mandy and the other cop, whoever the hell
Right.
he
Whoever
is.
she's working with most of the time, that's not Chuck Norris.
So over the shoulder shot.
Yeah, and so you see Clue Gulager's back, and he's wearing this silky robe.
Yeah, kind of greenish, silky robe.
Right, and what do you see through the robe?
Through the back of it, you see Matt Logan.
And it's like, what?
At first, I thought it was superimposed on your TV from a scene earlier, like it hadn't gone away. It's just like you have a permanent Matt Logan.
Bird did like the plasma or something. Yeah.
Which I can see this movie doing because it's so forceful. It just burns Matt Logan.
Matt Logan
and
Right into your fucking eyeball.
television
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you see it on his back, and it's hilarious, and I couldn't stop thinking about it after I
Right.
saw it.
So not only is the chief of police wearing a Matt Logan T-shirt under his dress shirt, but he's
under a silky
Whatever
robe.
the hell he's wearing.
that's right, under a silky robe, but he's wearing it backward.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, because the regular shirts are only printed on the front. So like he must have been a real big Matt Logan fan.
Oh yeah,
He's teaching my guys how to fight karate stuff.
he's fighting for the championship.
Oh man,
That's the deal he made. He's like, you teach my guys, I'll wear your shirt.
I'll constantly be repping you, bud.
Big
But it's
fan.
kind of
Especially at
obviously
night.
it was like they turned it around backwards so you couldn't see it on the front, probably because they didn't want him
Probably.
wearing a Matt Logan shirt. But then it totally backfires because they film him from behind.
Right,
Which
and
is
on
hilarious.
VHS that wasn't going to matter because you probably weren't going to see it. But in relative HD,
It
yeah,
comes through pretty good.
It comes through real good, right through that robe. All right, so anything else to add about A Force of One?
Do we know anything about American cinema releasing?
I believe that they released cinema.
They did in America.
America.
Yeah.
Well, we were curious about which came first, the American Cinema logo or the Force of One poster.
Because they use the same triangle.
They use the same triangle with like an electric sort of effect, glow
Right.
effect. Yeah.
My guess is that Force of One did it in American.
American Cinema Releasing still has a website.
Oh, I want to know what they're releasing today.
Action films.
I've got.
Of course,
the
they
Octagon.
released the Octagon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were the pre-canon.
They also
canon.
released Force 5, another Force film. Yep.
Force 5 is fantastic.
That was at Force Fest, wasn't
Yes,
it? I
it
remember
was.
that one.
That was the one everybody said was their favorite.
Yeah, with the bull in the tunnels. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good. It moves.
It's a good one. It's
It
a good
moves,
one.
yeah.
It is a good one. We enjoyed that.
So my last thoughts on this movie is I thought it was
Acapulco
going to
Gold.
be bad fun, but as it turns out, it took itself really seriously, and it wasn't a poor bad film at all.
No, it's a fair movie.
Right,
I mean,
it
it's a
held my
movie.
interest for the entire thing.
Yeah, it was fun to watch.
It felt twice as long as it was, which
Right.
is always a problem for movies. But I was looking for more stupidness than you actually get. from
Yeah,
this movie.
I think it's going to be interesting to see how the rest of this month goes.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think that.
Because Delta Force takes itself very seriously.
Yeah.
I don't think this would be a Force Fest film.
No.
It's just too procedural.
Right.
It would not be the kind of movie you want to watch with a bunch of people that have a good time around.
It's not over the top
it's
enough.
It's too dialogue driven, so
Yeah.
you have people talking over it. It just
You got
Yeah.
what you need is this is a movie for a Chuck Norris fan. Because he's fine in it.
Probably
He's-
his best acting.
he's actually
in some
pretty
of the-
good.
he's
in
pretty
it,
good in
acting
this.
wise. Yeah.
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 You know, and he's this is I mean, he even himself says that he felt himself be twice as good as his previous movie, the Good Guys Wear Black, which
Yeah.
was basically a star.
He still doesn't, he just doesn't have like a ton of
He doesn't have a whole lot of
charisma.
charisma or emotion.
right.
But
That comes later in his career.
when he's telling
A little bit. The charisma does to a degree.
my brain just shut down.
I'm thinking about Delta Force and how smirky
well,
he
that's-
is in that movie.
But I will say that might have been Lee Marvin.
And he does a
Well,
little bit.
bringing that
Well,
out.
Lee Marvin radiates that shit.
Yeah.
So yeah,
In
so
Walker,
by
Texas
osmosis,
Ranger,
you can't help
yeah,
but pick
he
some
does-
of that up. Yeah.
He does a little more acting in Texas Walker
Sure.
Ranger.
I
I mean,
mean,
he's never great.
He
but-
does
Seems
tell
like
a kid that he's got AIDS. in
Yeah.
that,
Right.
He,
so-
he
Yeah.
actually seemed like he was having fun though by that time in his career. I think in his early career he was just uncomfortable.
Maybe. I mean,
I think that's the difference I'm talking about. Is not necessarily that Chuck Norris was ever known for his overwhelming charisma.
I'm going to grill
But
you
when he
about
was
this like
training
you
the
were
people
grilling
in
me
the
about
room, you
women
could
and-
see
Yeah.
some charisma in him, and that's because he wasn't acting.
But I think that
They were
as
just
he
filming him.
as he made more movies through
Yes.
the 80s, he was definitely more comfortable in his own skin.
Well, and he did have that scene when he was talking about adopting Charlie.
yeah, he was
That
pretty
was
good.
a good scene.
Yeah.
That was one of his best scenes I've ever seen him act in.
Sure. Yeah.
So there's that.
So there's that. Yeah.
Congrats, Chuck.
Yeah. You get an Oscar.
Yep.
Oh man, imagine if he ever got an Oscar for like lifetime achievement.
Oh my God.
His persona should get an Oscar. Like the things
That's
people,
true.
I don't want to go
His
through
legend
the list.
has grown.
Yes,
Beyond,
his
well
legend
beyond.
is far bigger than even Bruce Lee's. Probably, even if it's a joke.
Right.
It's like a huge legend for Chuck Norris.
Absolutely. His what are they? His ironic persona.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well, let's put Force One.
Forcefully to rest.
Yes. Thank you.
You're
I was
welcome.
trying to figure out what to do with that.
Yeah.
We're entering into the dark period of this episode where we have to try to figure out a way to close it. And Chuck really helped out there. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So next week, unfortunately, Chuck, you're going to be missing out on this.
Yeah.
But we have a canon film. Mm-hmm. It is the Dude, Michael Dudikoff, in Avenging Force. Now this one is directed by Sam Furstenberg, who did the ninja movies for canon.
Yeah.
So there should be some decent.
Which ninja movies?
All three of them.
The Enter the
Enter the
Ninja,
Ninja,
the Dominion.
Ninja 3 and whatever the second one's called.
He did Ninja 3. The
Yeah.
one with the lady ninja.
Mhm.
That movie is insane.
Yeah.
That's what we got to talk about one day. Okay. All right. Cool. Well, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, so Force February is going to be here all month.
All month long.
Mm-hmm.
As long as February is a month, it will be forceful.
And this is a long February too. You
It
get one
is.
extra day of force.
we got one leap kick year or one leap kick
Leap
day.
kick.
Leap kick.
Leap kick.
Leap kick. That's why I said it's going to be Force February. Forget the alliteration.
Right.
It was the leap kick.
Leap kick.
Leap
Yep.
kick.
Anyway, so so I'm looking forward to that. Jason,
Yes. What?
tell the people where they can find us.
They can find us at filmseizure.com. Best place to go. All the episodes of all of our various offerings are uploaded to filmseizure.com.
What happens on Wednesdays?
We got some new episodes. of this thing that we're doing right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was trying to look for some alliterative thing, but no, it's just the new episodes.
New episodes on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
What about Mondays?
Mondays is Monster Mondays.
Sure is.
Monsters. How many of those have you done now?
Up through this point in the almost about 56 or 7 at this point.
Jesus. And that's 3 things you like about a monster movie?
Yep. Even if the monster movie's shit, sometimes I talk about a shit one.
That's nice. That's positive.
Yeah, it's a positive show. It's go online and you'll notice that almost everything talking about movies is trying to be
shit on them.
Trying to be, hey, we can be Mr. Plinkett too.
Right. But no,
that's not my angle.
What about on Saturdays?
Ooh, that's 00 Saturdays.
00.
Those are text reviews. One week I'll talk about the movie. The following week I'll talk about the music of that movie.
And then your other hustle on Fridays.
Yeah, B-Movie Enema. bmovieenema.com. That's where I can be a little bit more negative at times because sometimes those call for it.
But it's always with a bit of fun.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's all in good jest. I enjoy watching the movies. There are very few movies that I've covered on B-Movie Enema that have broken me. 4 or 5 of them from.
It's always fun when that happens, though.
Yeah, 4 or 5 of them came from the asylum. Never talking about their movies again. And one was a trauma movie called Pot Zombies. That movie was shit. That movie was shit.
Cool.
Yeah. So anyway,
so check us out.
Yeah, check us out in those various places. Chuck, I'm sorry you're going to miss out on
I am sorry, too. We have an important birthday for one of my children.
Family's important.
Yep.
Children.
Yeah. What are you going to do?
I don't know.
We'll catch you on the flip kick.
Yep.
Oh, the flip kick.
I'll be backflip later.
Yeah, you will return for the biggest iffy movie, one that I know practically nothing about. Called Invasion Force. All I know is there's a big beefy dude on the cover that Jason really likes.
Yeah.
And it looks goofy as fuck. So I was like, hey, you know what? That's going to get included. And then Delta Force, you'll be around for the Delta Force.
Hell yeah.
Oh, God, the Delta Force is like the theme music of my childhood.
Well, speaking of theme music, I want to thank Chuck for providing us a theme for this month.
Oh,
so
God.
thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
We recorded this episode. I still haven't heard it yet.
I have.
And it played us in.
And it's going to play us out, too. So
Beautiful.
So until next week when we do some Avenging Force, I'm Jeff Arbuckle.
I'm Chuck Moore.
I'm Jason Oliver, and you have been listening to Film Seizure.
There's some force for that ass. Lots of force in your ass. Did I sing that out loud? Good thing nobody's around for that force in your ass. I'll see myself out now.